gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Steve Vickerstaff, the COO of Alshaya. Steve, come and join me, my friend. Well, good morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very good indeed. I was running, somebody called me outside. That speech happened a bit quicker than I thought, and I've got a bit of a sweat on, which is lovely at this time of the day. So you've had a very busy morning. We had a chance to have a quick chat outside before we started today. Quite a busy time for Alshaya at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I was just actually chatting to Mark Tesserman, who used to work for us, and we were both saying the same thing. It's you feel like you're on a treadmill, but yeah, very busy. And we have we're bringing some new brands to the market, which is always exciting.
Right, we'll get onto that in just a couple of moments. For those of you who aren't aware of what Steve's talking about, we'll get onto that in a couple of seconds or so. But Steve, talk us through your journey and how you came involved in the region, how you got involved with Alshaya as well, and what kind of thoughts you have about where we are in the retail sector currently.
So I'm a lifer in retail. I went from school and joined the Marks & Spencer Management Training Scheme
Good old M&S.
many years ago. Yeah, good old M&S. And my decision I'd like to say my decision to come to the Middle East was thoroughly thought through and planned. It was not at all. And at the time, my family and career-wise, I was at something of a pivot point, and it was a whim. It really was a whim. I met a future colleague in London, and he told me all about Alshaya, and went to Kuwait for an interview, and that was 27 years ago.
So did you do the first thing that everybody says who comes to the region for the first time? We'll give it a year, possibly two, and then we'll go back from there, and 20-odd years later, you're still here. Was it that one?
Yeah, we said we'd give it a couple of years. I mean, basically, it's 2 years, 4 years, or forever, I think. And I'm forever.
Now you're forever. That's it. You can't go anywhere. So what does it feel like to be part of one of the largest and most successful retail franchises in the region? I mean, it's a huge operation. The big press releases in the last week or so, as I said, we will get onto. But how does it feel to be part of such of a Goliath operation?
It's hugely exciting. We're a very diverse group. We operate in 18 different countries. We have 70 different brands, 4,000 stores, 125 online presences. We employ more than 200 nationalities. It's a hugely diverse business, and it's growth, really. It's the growth that we've experienced. I mean, 27 years ago when I joined the company, we had half a dozen brands and about 150 stores. And we now have 4,000 stores in 18 countries. So the growth has been amazing. And no day is the same. I mean, it's a bit of a cliche, but literally, and in my current role, it just keeps me young, fresh, excited, and most importantly, it's the people.
Yeah.
They're our most important asset, and it's the people in the company that keep me excited, keep me motivated. And it's engaging with them and contributing to their development, which is the reason I get out of bed every morning.
Well, that's the thing. There's nothing worse than like waking up in the morning at whatever time you do and think, right, I've got to drive down the Sheikh Zayed Road or Al Khel Road, sit in an office all day, and that's hard work. But obviously, the day-to-day changes must be quite amazing and incredible. And as you said, you've come on quite a bit of a journey since those 20-odd years ago. Is that the key core of what keeps you interested in the retail industry, or is it what you can achieve going forward?
It's definitely what we can achieve going forward. Certainly, personally, what I spend most of my time on is actually with people. these days, if I look at my calendar and where do I distort my time, it's more with people. And that's where I think I can make the biggest contribution. But the other thing that keeps us on our toes is the customer.
Yeah.
So, and literally the customer is changing almost before our eyes at a much faster pace than we can possibly hope to keep up with. So, and if I think back to our business 27 years ago and our business today, I mean, it's night and day. I mean, you know, there was no online business 27 years ago. There were no digital channels. You know, I think I had a mobile phone, but it was a Nokia 312 or something.
3320 or 3310 or something like that, yeah.
Yes, so we had in the office, we had no access to the internet. We had no email systems. I mean, it was just a very different business.
So quite a few changes then over the last few years.
A little bit of change, yeah.
So what's, you know, talking of changes, what have you seen, you know, that has gone stratospheric, for instance? So the last panel discussion, a lot of the guys said if you could invest some money in whatever you want to, as you just said, it's customer knowledge, what the customers are going to do or what they're going to do next, enabling you to hopefully pivot and get in front of them to supply them what they need. What would you say the biggest single change or two have been in the region towards the retail sector?
Definitely the different channels that we now trade on or communicate with customers on. You know, it's much more complicated, much more challenging to provide a joined up omnichannel experience for the customer. So we're heavily investing on those journeys. We've invested a lot of money in technology over the last few years. Another one would be sustainability.
Yes.
I mean, the previous panel talked about ESG in the broader sense, but we certainly, you know, 6 years ago, we did not have anybody in our business dedicated to sustainability. We do now. We have a small member of the leadership team who's dedicated to sustainability. And in each and every function and brand, we have somebody dedicated to that topic. So in terms of, you know, how you minimize the waste you generate, how your people policies, we're involved in a lot of pioneering projects with circular, where we have circular opportunities of recycling material back into the business. It's a really important topic which didn't appear on the radar, you know, only a few years ago.
Well, I mean, every day sounds like a school day. You're learning about new things, new technology, new equipment that can come together and help you guys at Alshaya strive forward. Now, stepping away for a second or so from where we are here in Dubai and the UAE, a small little operation, a small little country off to the west of us, Saudi Arabia. It's been a big focus for the retail industry over the last year or so. What's your kind of views on the Saudi market and what part Alshaya might play in that marketplace going forward, Steve?
It's a hugely challenging market. It's very much a value market, but it's by far the biggest market in the region. So, you know, it has population size. It's a captive market, so our customers are Saudis. They're not you know, expatriates.
Expats, yeah.
But we have a sister company called Mabani, who are one of the largest mall developers in the region. So they develop the avenues in Kuwait, the avenues in Bahrain, for example. And Mabani are investing $6 billion in the market, building what will be the largest shopping centre in Riyadh, which opens in a couple of years' time. 4 million square feet of retail space, multi-use project. It will change the face of retail in the kingdom. And we're also building the avenues in Khobar, which doesn't get as much attention. And we tend to talk about it as if it's a smaller project. It's still the size of the Mall of the Emirates. So, so we're investing, you know, our overall group is investing billions in the market. And our workforce there has changed massively. You know, 6-7 years ago, we hardly employed any women. Probably in those days, 30% of our workforce were Saudis. We're now 100% Saudis working in our stores. We're gradually nationalising the workforce in our warehouses. We've just opened 2 enormous DCs, one in Riyadh, one in Jeddah, this year, and an increasing number of people who work in those warehouses are Saudis and Saudi women. We're the largest private sector employer of women in the kingdom. Yeah, so really excited about investing in Saudi, but also investing in the community. I think what people miss about Saudi is the nation is extremely proud of their nation, very, very proud of local businesses. So the more locally relevant in Saudi that you can be, the more successful you will be.
Now, in terms of regional growth and expansion, which is where we've just talked about there, in terms of global perspective, what's Alshaya's view on the global marketplace and where they might enter other than the regional, or are they going to stay regionally based?
Well, as I said earlier, what a lot of people don't know about us is that we are in 18 countries. So we have businesses in the UK, we have businesses in Eastern Europe, in Poland, Hungary, Czech, and Romania. We're in, one of our biggest brands is Starbucks, and in fact, the biggest Starbucks market for us is Turkey. So we're in Turkey, we're in Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and then across, obviously, the MENA region. So we're not really interested in planting flags in new markets at the moment. We have lots of opportunity in developing the markets that we're already trading in.
So talking to the markets that you trade in, Steve, of course you have a range of products which everybody knows you for. Are you, or do you have any plans to diversify and bring in new categories of retail products that you haven't ever come across or worked with before? Are you going to step outside the boundaries of where you currently are? Is there any future lines like groceries? I know you guys don't do groceries so much. Is there any plans for that in the future, or you're going to stay with what you do best?
So we have 2, I guess, if you look at the retail sectors that we're in, we were focused on really 2 only, and it doesn't include grocery. And maybe we can talk about the 2 in a little while. So we're really focused on 2 retail sectors that we don't really play in today. And then the other way of developing our business, I think, is looking at kind of associated trading opportunities. So loyalty, for example, we launched our loyalty program, Aura, a couple of years ago. We also have Starbucks Rewards in our Starbucks business. And one of the things that we are developing is developing loyalty as an income stream. So it's a vital way of us connecting with our customers and building lifetime value with the customer. But it's also a way of generating income. So we've recently announced, for example, a relationship with Ooredoo, offering mobile applications on mobile packages through Aura. We've just announced a branded credit card with MasterCard. We've just launched Aura Pay. So developing loyalty as a business is interesting. Also, our logistics. We own and operate almost all of our warehouses. And in a small way, we've now started to generate income through those logistics services as well. So we've got tenants in some of our DCs, for example. So opportunities within retail, but also opportunities with associated capabilities that we have.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, last week, 2 weeks ago, I was in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia meeting some of our esteemed colleagues who are here with us today. And one of the conversations we had was, which we're going to get onto right now, was about, discount retailing, what Saudi Arabia would love. And our esteemed gentleman here said, one thing we need in Saudi Arabia is Primark. We'd love to get Primark in Saudi Arabia. 2 days later, we arrived back here in the UAE, and a certain announcement came out about your tie-up with Primark. And I know there's certain things that we can't talk about so much at the moment, but tell us a little bit about that wonderful opportunity you guys have with Primark and yourselves.
Yeah, I can't say too much because we want to announce things when they're, when they're confirmed. Certainly in terms of, when and where is the first store opening and that type of thing. But yeah, our courtship of Primark.
It took a little time, didn't it?
It took a long, long time. And we were not alone. I'm sure you'd expect most of the large retail groups at some point have spoken to Primark. So first of all, we're really proud that we have secured a partnership with them. They're really nice people. If you don't know the business, it was founded in Ireland. And actually in Ireland, it's not called Primark, it's called Pennies. And it has already got quite a strong global presence in the US, in the UK, in Spain, in Central and Eastern Europe. But they've always operated their international stores themselves. So they've never worked in partnership before. So we're really excited about bringing the brand to the region.
Your phone and your email must have been full up over the last week or so with people wanting quotes or comments about it. It must be quite a busy time, but an exciting time no less. And of course, when the time's right, of course, I'm sure you're going to be announcing that wonderful tie-up that you have with the guys here. Now, with the Middle East in kind of flourishing form as it is at the moment, as far as anything else that Alshaya are working on, moving into different sectors that we crossed over a moment ago, what's kind of the next big thing that you kind of think that Alshaya will be creating, apart from Primark, obviously, or Primani, as it's effectively known in the UK?
We're very optimistic about food and beverage. So we've got a number of brands in our portfolio that we think we can scale at volume. Examples would be Raising Cane's, which is probably unknown to most people, certainly in the UAE. We've only got a couple of stores here, but we think we can scale that business up. It's a fried chicken business if you've never seen it. Shake Shack, we think we can really scale up. And then we've recently opened the first Chipotle store in Kuwait. And in fact, if you're not doing anything next Wednesday, we're opening the first Chipotle store in Dubai.
Anywhere particular? Give us a little hint of where it may be?
The first store will be in JBR.
Okay.
So down at the beach development, if you're familiar with that development. So that's opening on the 2nd of October. So really optimistic about F&B. We talked about Primark. And then, as I say, our sister company, Mabani, with the expansion in Saudi. Really aggressive about that. But we're really focused. We're very focused on about 10 of our businesses. So we have about 70 brands, but really the vast majority of our revenue comes from 10 brands. And those are the 10 brands that we focus our attention on. And then there are 5 markets that, although we trade in 18, the vast majority of our revenue comes from 5. And the good thing is those 5 are large markets where there's more than enough, opportunity to to continue to expand our business and grow in market share.
Well, we've got a couple of minutes, Steve, before we leave. Just a quick thing. What's the kind of most valuable lesson that you would say you, Alshaya, as an organisation, feel that you've maybe taken on board or learned over the last few years about this retail industry that we all work in? What's the kind of biggest thing that either surprised you or helped you go forward in the day-to-day job that you do?
Well, certainly the pandemic helped us focus on, because all of our stores, in March 2020, all of our stores closed. And we had little or no online presence at that point. And the little presence we had online, we were finding really hard. So the pandemic, which created a lot of damage, clearly, one of the few upsides to the pandemic from a business perspective is it focused our mind on developing new ways of generating revenue. And literally within days or weeks, we had all of our brands trading online in one shape or form. Some of it wasn't very pretty, but we got it.
Needs must, in a way.
Needs must, absolutely. I think the other thing that we're doubling down on is the most important people in our business, which are our store managers. So in fact, this year in the company is the year of the store manager. And we've been really focused on those important people in our business who lead our store teams, because they're the most important people in the organisation. And we've spent a lot of time focusing on detasking them, improving the way we reward them, improving their training, career direction, in all sorts of different ways. So that's been really important this year.
Well, Steve, 35 minutes has just gone like that. We are out of time. Are you going to be around for a little bit longer if anybody wants to have a few questions with you outside, or are you rushing off and leaving us?
Unfortunately, I've got to rush off and...
Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, listen. Steve, thank you for the insights today. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the COO of Alshaya, Steve Vickerstaff. Steve, thank you very much, my friend. Lovely to meet you.